Look, you gotta compete even when the people around you don't realize that it's a competition. You heard me? I said you have to compete even when the people around you don't realize that you're in a competition. Actually, I'm gonna tell you something. It's better for you if you are in a competition with individuals that don't even realize that they're in a competition, right? I don't think you heard me. I don't think you heard me. It's better. I'm gonna say it again. It's better for you to be in a competition when the people around you don't even realize that it's a competition. I'm gonna give you an example. Would you rather, or do you think it's easier for you to win a race, right? Imagine you're in a race. Do you think it's easier for you to win if you're in a race with 5 people and those 5 people have been training their entire lives for this race? They get up early in the morning, they work out, they prepare. They go out to the track and they run the race over and over and over again by themselves in preparation for the race. They eat in preparation for the race. They wake up every morning. They have been training their entire lives. Do you think it's easier to win a race against 5 people who are giving it 110%? Do you think it's easier to win a race against them? Or do you think it's easier to win a race against 5 people who haven't even figured out that they are in a race? Right? You got one of them, they on their phone, they checking Facebook, you running. You in machine mode, you in beast mode. You got one of them, they drinking coffee. They on the field with you. They at the starting line with you. But when the gun goes off to start the race, they checking Instagram, checking Facebook. They drinking coffee, and you giving it 110%. Do you think it's easier to win against 5 people who have been training their entire lives? Or do you think it's easier to win against 5 people who haven't even figured out that they are in a race? I want you to compete even when the people around you don't realize that it's a competition. I was a general manager for McDonald's, right? And I made it to be a general manager of McDonald's by employing that ideology, okay? I realized that I wanted to go from being a crew person to general manager, so I had to go through certain steps. First, I had to be a manager. Then I had to be an assistant manager. Then I had to ultimately become a GM. So what I realized was that it was better for me if the management team did not even realize that I was competing with them. I remember there were times when the general manager would give the other managers duties and responsibilities. And they were like, oh man, I don't want to do this. Why she want me to do the schedules? Why she want me to do the truck order? Why? And then I came up behind him and I was like, hey, you know what? You don't want to do the truck order? Don't worry about it. I'll do it for you. And they thought they was winning. You know what? If you don't want to do the schedules, don't worry about it. I'll do it for you. And they thought they were winning. You know what? You don't want to stay late. You don't want to come in early. You don't want to work that extra shift. Don't worry. I'll do it for you. You don't want to be the manager in charge when corporate comes in to grade the store. You don't want to be the manager in charge when the health department comes in to grade the store. Don't worry. I'm your boy. I'll do it for you. And since they didn't realize that it was a competition, and I was in beast mode, I was in machine mode, I was running as hard as I could possibly run, they gave me the responsibilities. So I learned how to do the schedules. I learned how to do the truck order. I learned what the people from corporate were expecting. And I made connections. Remember, you compete even when the people around you don't realize that they're in a competition. It's easier for you to win a race if you're racing people who haven't even figured out, right, that they're in a race, okay? I made it to be a general manager within 4 years. I did it quicker, faster, and better than a lot of people had ever saw it done before. And for various reasons that I'll probably go to in another video, I quit. I quit McDonald's. I left it alone. I went to go do something else, right? And so when I came back, because I also came back to McDonald's, when I came back to McDonald's, I realized that I wanted to become a general manager again. Because when I came back, I was just a regular manager. And so I employed the same exact logic. I became the assistant manager to a good friend of mine, a man named Kevin. Right? And Kevin was the general manager and I was his assistant manager. And just like those managers didn't realize that it was a competition, that it was a race, I was competing with Kevin. Kevin might see this video. It was all love. It was a friendly competition. But me and Kevin were competing, and I don't think Kevin realized that we were competing. See, in order to be a general manager, you had to do certain online classes and certain online courses. Now, since I left McDonald's and came back, they had to merge the old courses that I had already taken in with my new courses, right? And so Kevin had already had the majority of his general manager classes completed. And in order to go to Hamburger University, HU in Chicago, the ultimate course, where you spent a week in Chicago learning the business, right? He was almost there. And so when I came back, I tried to get them to merge my old courses so that I would be exactly what Kevin was at, and all I would have to do was finish the courses, complete the courses, and then I could go to HU. But you know what they told me? It took 2 months, and they kept telling me that they were having problems merging my old courses with my new employee number. And so what I realized is I wasted 2 months. And to me, in my competition mode, my competition mind state, I was like, man, he's now 2 more months ahead of me. So I was at a meeting and I told the lady that was in charge of merging my old classes with my new employee number, just start me over. Start me at the bottom. I'll do all of the classes. I'll do the regular employee classes. I'll do the crew manager classes. I'll do the manager classes. I'll do the assistant manager classes. I'll do the kitchen, people, guest service department. I'll do the general manager courses so I can get to Hamburger University, so I can get to HU, so I can become a store manager again. And they told me, Matt, are you sure you already did all of this work? Do you really want to do it all over again? I say, look, I've already wasted 2 months. In the time it took me to wait 2 months for you guys to merge my old courses with my new employee number, I probably could have half of the courses done already, because I know me. I compete, right? I press, right? I work, right? I push, right? I hump. I get it. You feel me? But I knew I was standing still. So even if I have to start over, starting over is better than standing still. In my opinion, I told them, look, start me over. And if you ever can merge the classes, then good. I'll have all the classes. But if you never merge the classes, I will not be stuck at the starting line, because I already started the classes over. I know how to compete. And guess what? Within a year, I had finished them all. Right? Within a year, I did the regular classes, the crew manager classes, the manager classes, the assistant manager classes, the kitchen, guest service, people department, and I did the general manager classes. And guess what? I made it to HU before my boy Kevin. Now, I'm not taking no shots. I love Kevin. If you ever see this video, if anybody ever see this video that know him and know me, they know, y'all know I'm not taking no shots. That's my friend. That's my good friend. But I'm just saying, I was competing with him and he didn't realize it, because I wanted to complete the classes before him. So I pushed myself. When I was off, I was working on them classes. On my break, I was working on them classes. Before I went in, I was working on them classes. In my free time, I was grinding because I was competing. I was competing when the people around me didn't know I was competing. And guess what? I finished all of the classes, even starting over at the beginning, before he did. And I made it all the way to HU, and I became a store manager again by employing the concept of competing when even the people around you don't realize that it's a competition. That's what you're going to have to do. That's what you're going to have to do. It ain't no easy route, right? It ain't no get rich quick. It take work. It take hard work. It take ethic. It take motivation. It take dedication. You got to push. You got to push. Right? You gotta push. Sometimes you gotta do things that you don't want to do. You think I wanted to start those classes over? Are you out of your mind? You think I wanted to do those classes on my off day? Are you out of your mind? Do you think I wanted to do those classes on my lunch break? Are you out of your mind? But what I wanted was the success. What I wanted was the position. So I had to do the things that I really didn't want to do because that was the only way to get it. When you figure out what you got to do, don't worry about how hard it is. Don't trick yourself into telling you it's too hard. Nothing is too hard if you put your heart and your mind into it. Ain't like I told you. I became a general manager the first time by competing with a management team that didn't realize I was competing, right? Didn't realize that they was in a competition. Right? And I made it the second time by competing with an individual who didn't realize that it was a competition. So what I want you to do, I want you to compete with everything you got in you. Even when the people around you don't realize that it is a competition. It's better for you to be in a race with individuals that's checking Facebook, that's checking Instagram, that's sipping coffee on the field, than to be in a race with somebody that's been training for it their entire life. You be that individual that they don't want to compete with. You be the individual that they don't want to race against, right? You push harder, you work harder, and you dedicate yourself more than the people around you. That's just what you got to do. You got to compete. Don't be afraid of it. You got to compete. It's friendly competition, and I'm not saying get something that they can't get. They can get it too, but that helps you acquire what you're trying to acquire, and that gives you the drive. Because I made up my mind that I wanted to complete those classes before my friend Kevin, so I pushed harder than I probably would have pushed if I didn't view it like that. Compete even when the people around you are not competing. That's what you got to do, right? So, like I want to tell you guys, before I log off, add me on social media, Matthew Daniels. Go to my page, everything Matthew Daniels. If you haven't already ordered the book, order the book. Right? Suicide Note by Matthew Daniels. You could probably find some of my other videos where I'm talking about it. If you go to Amazon.com, they have a Kindle ebook version of it, and you can even read like the first chapter to see if it's something that you would actually be into. So as always, and until next time, Matthew Daniels, the chosen few, the real bookworm, and Pooh. May your name live on forever, and may your memory never die. Hotel.